Hey, you guys, let me just get this camera a little bit more right. I feel like it's maybe staring upwards. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so I wanted to hop on here. I'm actually kind of doing this specifically for an ambassador, a new ambassador to our team, or newer, I should say. She's getting some really great success, but also diving into or discovering some of the things about our business that can allow doubt and fear to creep in. And so I said I would do a little bit of a video to help her to alleviate those doubts, and offer some suggestions for how to be successful in this business. So I'm going to do that team-wide so everybody has an opportunity to listen in, because it definitely is something that every single person who does this business is going to feel and experience. So what am I talking about? I'll lay a picture for you. This gal started, she had an incredible testimonial for her and her husband. Really insane. And so she took that to the airwaves, right? She posted it on Facebook and got some really good initial response. She's a senior silver, so that means she has 10 people on her team. She might even have more at this point, but I know she's a senior silver, and she's had a lot of yeses. It happens to be October 8th today. So we just finished up September, which is typically a slightly slower month of our calendar year in terms of this business, because in September everyone goes back to school. Right now we're dealing with COVID, so it makes everything even more challenging in terms of that transition. Some kids are virtual, some kids are going to school. If they aren't going to school and they're running into COVID, they're having to come back home and quarantine. Like, we've got a lot of things going on. And then of course, besides just regular school, we have a sports season taking hold. And so parents always take a little bit of a like, whoa, deer in the headlights moment in the month of September, and that naturally impacts our business. You will see that turn around over the course of the next few months. It'll start to take an uptick. People are going to be looking for immune boosting and so on and so forth. And in January, boom, we fly, because everybody wants the weight loss side of things, right? So she was starting to feel some uneasiness in the last week, like, oh my gosh, I'm getting no responses. Nobody's even saying anything. I'm getting ghosted. I think she might have had some no's, etc. Mostly, I think it was being ghosted, and those doubts and fears started creeping in of like, oh my gosh, maybe I just got lucky for a few weeks and that's it. And my business is on a downward spiral. I got one nice paycheck and it's all over. Like, that's not what she said to me, but I know that that's the feeling, because I've been doing this for 7 years full time. And I've talked to many people who have that feeling. And I myself consistently have had that feeling. Now, I would love to tell you actually that feeling eventually just goes away and your paycheck gets so big and you get to a certain level. For me, I'm only a little emerald, which is a great place to be, but it's not quite at a place where I feel like I would ever have that thought. And so I'm not even sure if you ever get to that place. And I'm also sorry, you guys. I'm also a 5-time business owner. So I've owned businesses outside of Plexus. And I can tell you that as an entrepreneur, everything I've ever done, that really kind of has been the case. I think it's just a fact of being an entrepreneur. There's always risk every day you wake up. It doesn't matter how successful your business is. I mean, let's look at COVID, for instance. You have companies. We have a company here in Charlottesville. It's been in business for 17 years. Very successful. When COVID hit, they got shut down, and they made an announcement shortly thereafter, within a couple of months, that they would not be reopening. They were done. And that's been the case for a lot of companies, where even as they hit success, something can arise in the marketplace. A shift can occur. Going from desktop computers to laptops is another example. Right now, everyone buys a laptop. Nobody says I'm going to the store to buy a desktop. Not to say that they don't sell, but it's a big shift in the marketplace and it impacts your business. So as a business owner in general, just an FYI, there's always going to be an element of fear, because what we do is no guarantee of a paycheck, right? That's just the way it is. Side note, by the way, why do I keep doing it? Why am I a serial entrepreneur? Because there's no guarantee in a paycheck from a job either. And we're seeing this with COVID as well, right? Millions and millions of people being laid off. And that's not just when there's a pandemic. There's all kinds of reasons this happens regularly. So you're always going to have that potential for fear in this business. What I want to convey to you guys today is the best answer to fear developing in your mind and your heart, the feelings which arise or bring about anxiety, right, is to recognize it. That's going to sound so strange, but you actually want to go, oh, there's fear here. Just sit in that moment for a second and say to yourself, there's that fear again. It's not new. It's been around before. In this case, it's attacking me about my business. And what is the reality of where that fear is coming from? It's a protection mode for your mind to keep you in a secure space, right? If it senses that something that you're doing is risky for one reason or another, it's going to harbor the feeling of fear so that you pull back and be careful, essentially be careful. So what your best measure is when you do this business is to recognize that fear and go, yes, 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 I see you. You know what it does? It kind of squashes the effect of the fear. When you recognize it in a manner of like, I own it, I see you, I'm not going to respond to you, but thanks for showing up. You actually squash its effectiveness in terms of shutting you down. Why do you want to do that? 3 amazing words. Trust the process. The process that we have at Plexus works, you guys. I started this business 7 years ago when our company was only about 5 years old, something like that. I think people probably would have said I was getting in on ground level. I didn't even know what that term meant. I had no idea. And honestly, I don't think it impacted my business one single tiny iota. The only reason I became successful is because I didn't have a lot of fear when I started. I was so stinking excited to have found this opportunity. I blurted it everywhere. I told everyone I didn't care what they thought of me. Judgment was not on my plate. I could care less. I so knew that what I was doing was a good thing. It had purpose and value to everybody around me that I just was bold and crazy. And so my business took off. But it did. So it really didn't have anything to do with being a newer company, in my opinion. In fact, I would argue that the place that I launched my business had never heard of Plexus. And since there's no positive reputation behind that name, people are like, what is it? Is there trust in that name? Nope, because they've never heard of it. They have no idea. So you've got to work from the ground level to explain this to people and hope that you succeed. If anything, it could be argued that I was in a detrimental situation because we were so new. Fast forward to today, okay? Obviously, I was successful then, and our economy was rolling along, doing okay. Fast forward to today, we're sitting in the middle of a pandemic. Our economy is sinking more than it's increasing, right? We're having some really negative effects of this. And our business is booming. Plexus is booming. We have what people need on the product side and the business side. So when I say trust the process, I mean those words so deeply because no matter what is going on around you, this business works and our products work. So you just have to trust the process and do that on a daily basis and focus on the action versus necessarily the feeling of the no, right? If you get a no, my gosh, I want you to go, great, no problem. Next, great, no problem. Next. Because that's what the process is. You ask people if they want to learn about Plexus, and they either say yes or no. That is it. There's need not be any success or failure placed behind the yes or the no or the ghosting that you get today. Who cares if you get ghosted today? Message them again. Message them 10 times. I've messaged people 6 times and had them ghost me and then say something like, oh, yes, I want to be added to that event. Last night I had this happen. I sold somebody a 3-day. I messaged them 6 times over the course of a week. And then I messaged them about 6 times thereafter. So in the first week, I was messaging them, trying to get them to take the product, right? They wouldn't even take the product and they were messaging me back. And then nothing. I messaged them for like 2 more weeks. Every single message went ghosted, not even looking at the message. I let 3 weeks roll by where I did not contact them. And then I messaged her again last night and she thanked me for messaging her and said, I'm going to get started tomorrow. So if I had looked at that and said, oh my gosh, I sold a 3-day, I messaged her all these times, she probably thinks I'm a crazy plexus lady that's just bugging her and she's not even going to take this 3-day sample, and on and on and on. And then I messaged her 6 more times and there was totally ghosting. I could have so easily been like, oh, this isn't going to work for me. It's not going to work for me. And I'm creating a situation within this conversation where I'm giving the impression that I'm a crazy multi-level marketer that just is going after a sale, just is like badgering people to do what I want them to do. I could tell people that lie. I could tell myself that lie, right? Or I could realize that this is how people work. This isn't about me or multi-level marketing. This is how people work. They ignore messages because they're way too busy. They procrastinate because they're afraid a product won't work or they're too busy. They're sitting in their own self-doubt, anxiety, craziness, like they could be at home getting yelled at by their spouse, or they could have just opened a package and been given an $11,000 medical bill. Now, that might seem overwhelming, and why do we want to be in front of them when they're facing something like that? But that's exactly the reason why we want to be in front of them. If their spouse is yelling at them, it's probably because of money. It's the number one cause of divorce, right? Money. If they're staring at a medical bill, we want to get them healthy. So we are actually a positive answer no matter what. People don't respond to us because that's how people run their lives right now. That's the state of mind people are in. It has nothing to do with you. So that's why it's important to go back to the process. So what is that process? Every single day, you want to reach out to 3 to 10 new people. So 3 people, if you're just growing your business at a very average pace, and you have no really strong desire to be at any particular rank at any particular time. 10 if you want to be diamond in a year, right? So, and somewhere in between there is, I've got some pretty decent goals that I want to tackle. And so I'm going to go in the middle, and I can still, manage my life without being completely stressed out and freaked out. And yeah, I can still be on a pretty good course for being at XYZ decent size level rank advancement over the course of the next year. That's it. 3 to 10 new people a day. Then you want to follow up with 3 to 5, right? Follow up is key. Most of these people are not going to say yes to you the first 1, 2, or even 3 times. It takes 7 to 10 touchbacks, right? Call them touchbacks, if you will. I'm just touching in with you. Some of those touchbacks can be relationship building, such as, hey, I care about you. I love you. I hope your family is doing well. Tell me what's going on. And some of them can be, hey, I'm doing an event this week. I know we've been talking about Plexus. This is one more opportunity for you to learn more about our products and why I'm so passionate. Do you have time to hop on Thursday night? Keeping it real, authentic. Just be who you are and trust that this touchback might work and it might not work, and it doesn't matter because you've got 10 other touchbacks, or I'm sorry, 3 to 5 other touchbacks to do today, and 10 other new people to reach out to. And through the power of numbers, you're going to get the yeses, whether it happens today or you get 10 yeses next week. Who cares? It absolutely works. Or 7 years into this business, there's no way I would keep signing people. And I do. I keep signing people. Why? Because I am passionate about helping people. If I give up on the process, I give up on people. I give up on the spirit of Plexus, the vision to change this world in a way that is so desperately needed right now. I'm actually feeling emotional inside. This is terrible. But it is so desperately needed right now. there are not a lot of institutions out there that are that their main focus is to better the health of us and to help us explode our bank accounts if we want to. Like, that's just not the premise of the majority of businesses. Businesses in general, their premise is usually for them, the one owner or maybe two owners that are trying, they've got a bunch of employees that get paid $10 to $25 an hour usually, and they're hoping as owners they make bank. That's not what goes on in Plexus. In Plexus, it's we want everybody to make bank, whatever that number looks like for your bank account. Like, that's pretty incredible. These other businesses, there's one or two owners at top, they're not worrying about whether the employees are ever going to live more than paycheck to paycheck. And that's the community in which we live. That's the reality of our world. In Plexus, if we follow the process, if we show up every day, if we take our eyes off of the feeling of getting a no or being ghosted and just trust the process, we are going to make an impact on people's lives in monstrous ways that nobody else is paying attention to. Food industry is dumping preservatives and sugars into everything that we have to try to get us to eat more and be addicted. And they're not worried about if we have diabetes and all the other things, right? Pharma, big pharma, they're not in this business to say, oh, how can we heal these people so that they don't need what we have? Like, that wouldn't make a good business plan, right? Plexus, we are about helping people get to the root issues and heal themselves from the inside out. And we're really not worried about people taking our product forever, because once we feel this amazing, we take our product forever. That's just what happens. And it's a beautiful side effect of our business. We don't lose our customers, we gain them for life. And then we get to show them how to share with other people and create balance or sustenance for their family, and in some cases break major poverty chains. That's incredible. But none of this happens if we don't trust the process. So I know that something like this might seem like I'm going to talk more about the action steps. We have those all over the place, you guys. If you don't know how to do this business, we have so much endless training about the actual action steps that I talked about, like reaching out to new people and following up. You might be thinking, well, what do I say to them? And what is a good follow-up? The answers to that is all over the place. If you need to know where to find them, please ask your sponsor, post on the team page, ask me. I will point you in the right direction. But what I really wanted to get down to today is a psychological aspect of this business, because the process of reaching out and following up and expanding your network and posting on social media is absolutely a moot point if you allow fear and a lack of trust in the process to stop you in your tracks and keep you small and not make a difference in the world to other people. If you can't get your mind off of that fear, you're not going to follow the process. And so learning the process is irrelevant. That's what I'm trying to say. So my message to you today is to understand that what we have is what people need. I think everybody gets that. I really do. The process works. That's where people get a little hung up, because we are mentally trained to hear that if we hear the word no, that is negative and bad and means failure. Not the case in Plexus, not the case in network marketing at all, ever. No, that's not the case. In fact, many of your no's, many of them, if you keep following the process and keep following up, will become yeses. And they will be beautiful yeses. And by the way, some of your yeses that have you so excited and they're allowing you to get all these feel-good feelings of like, oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can be successful. Some of those yeses will end up being people that throw the products to the wayside after 60 days, never share with a single person, and have nothing to do with the future of your business to be able to be successful. Some of those yeses are just not going to ever actually commit fully enough to understand the power behind our products, and they're never going to share with other people. So you're so excited about the yeses, and yet some of those people aren't really going to take you there very far. On the flip side, you might be looking at a no and going, oh my gosh, it's dreadful. I might need to quit my job. I might need to quit this business. It's not going to work. And then you'll like kick yourself in the butt and you'll keep going. And whoa, lo and behold, that no from 5 months ago will become a yes. And not only will they become a yes, they will have their entire lives changed by these products. And then they will share with everyone. And they will be one of your biggest rock star co-leaders of your team. And you will be in Maui with them. Like, that's how the business works if you trust the process. So just keep going, because it is so beautiful when you can let go of the fear and own it. Remember, don't even just try to push it down. Don't push it down. Look it in the face and say, oh, yes, you're here to protect me. You're so cool. You're so good that way. And I love you. I've got this. Shift your sails. Go back to the process. Get into massive action, because that's what squashes the true fear, is the action, and just keep going. Last thing I want to say to you is, if you need help in this arena at any point in your journey, and trust me, this doesn't stop even as a jewel. So get used to it, but be smart about it. Find an accountability partner, find a co-leader, go grab your best friend, have her do this business with you. And when you're not feeling so awesome, call that person. Let them lift you up. When they're not feeling so awesome, let them know they can call you. Love on each other, help lift one another, and you will have unlimited success in this business. All right. Have a good day, you guys. Hope this helps.